Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Turn Right Machine Works. My name is Keith, and we're about ready to go into the shop here. I'm going to give a tour because I've been asked lately by several that they would like an updated tour of the shop. What a better reason to give you a shop to celebrate 100,000 subscribers. Because of you, I have reached that goal. I never knew back in March of 2011 that this would take off and be what it is. 34 million views later, you put me over that 100,000 subscriber mark. I appreciate it very much. All right, let's go in and take an updated tour of the shop. Oh, there's my coffee. It is pretty brisky outside. We have been running our wood stove here for quite a few weeks now, and and it was great to come back from Cape Verde Islands and light that off. All right, we're going to start up here in the front of the shop here, and I guess I'm going to come around to that side. Okay, what I'm doing here is getting ready. This morning I cut 20 more figurines out for shore drive designs, and we basically make plant hangers for them, and we create different designs and styles. Pull one out here. This is a backing plate that mounts it to the wall, and then this gets welded to it, and this happens to be a hand given hearts, and it happens to be one of the latest ones that we come up with, and we have some more football helmets there. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and pull out the ones around the edge here, and I want to cut my sheet so that I can maximize my return on my material, and it could be some other projects down the road. These are the football helmets right here. You can paint them up. You can put your own team sticker on there, that kind of thing. Short drive designs where you want to buy those at. All right. Now we're just going to take and we're going to make two lines and create a cut line and cut those two pieces off of there. I turn on my dryers and my machine. Little ventilation here. Okay, and now we've made a line that will allow us to cut from that line up the side, bypass those. So we'll have two pieces of material. There, I've got my most popular cutouts for short drive designs up on my window here. This latest hand with hearts, I'll get that welded up there like that, and we'll probably get this up on the wall as well. Okay, we're going to cut this slash sheet we have in half so we can put it in storage, and we're going to move on with our tour. Now, cutouts like my Coyote Roadrunner here, you can watch that completely being done in my video called Choking the Chicken. And my son Alex here, when I did this figurine, I created two videos called Hang Loose and Plasma Boarding. All right, so let's get this going, and we'll move on with our projects and tour of the shop here. We're jumping around the shop here because I'm putting together a few right roller kits to keep up with my inventory and the orders that came in while I was gone, and I was requested. In fact, actually, anytime that my right roller kits are zero on the inventory on my website, you give me an email and you just tell me to put you on the list, and then I contact you as soon as I have some more. And that's what we're doing right now, is just filling in the voids of a couple items that I need to put in those kits, and we're putting together some kits today. All right, so what I have is I have a bunch of links because I don't have the full bar. And normally I take a chop saw and I feed this in by hand with a stop, and the stop is incorporated with a spacer, so the chop saw doesn't even grab the material itself. I slide it in against the stop, come down with the chop saw, rotate it, and then it goes flying off, and then I lift it and, you know, feed in the next one, and I just go one after another like this, and then I end up having this amount of material left over. So we came in here to use up some of the material that's left over to continue making more spacers. So we have our part off tool here. Now that we have one for the Rutland lathe, it's real handy to have that same capabilities we do in the big lathe. And I using the 3-jaw, because if we try, you know, the first thing I did was look for a collet, because that's ideal to actually just slip it through the collet. But the closest collet is 7/16, and this is like 400 on the outside. It's not close enough to run a collet, otherwise I would. All right, so we have it set, and our link that we normally part off, we have that for a sample, and we're just spinning these up, and just taking a little bit of cutting oil here, and we're parting off All right, we have enough here to go ahead and put together a kit, so let's go on in and put together some kits here. Okay, there's the rest of our spacers, and I think we got everything else to put together our right roller kits. Now the right roller kits lets you build a set of rollers like this. This pair right here was built by my apprentice Harry last year. And we just got a mail call in here, and I'm going to call this the unanimous anonymous shaft. Unanimously, we can all agree that this is bent. Okay, do I need to get my Noga? No. All right, unanimously we can see that this is bent. Anonymously, the customer wants to remain. All right, so now you want to see a lead screw like this being straightened, check back or check in my back history there, and the video called Lead Screwed would be one to watch. All right, we're going to go ahead and we're going to put together some of these kits, and basically we've got the materials all set up in boxes and quantities, and that's what we're going to do, is go ahead and put these kits together, and then we'll move on and get into another area of the shop and continue our tour through the shop here. So I just wanted to let you see this area used for other than holding that sheet up off the ground. We also do welding, and we're going to be coming back into this area here after I get all of this picked up, and we're going to be setting up to do weld fusion overlay on a shaft, and we'll come back and we'll actually show. We do have the Synchrowave 250 here and the Millermatic 250 down there. And I get asked a lot of times what these guys are back here in the background, and basically they're figurines that were in the fun center where Vanessa used to work down at the carousel, and they were being thrown out, and she brought them home, and then of course she put them in the shop when I didn't know it, and then when I come in walking in nice and dark, Obi Kenobi there damn near scared me to death. But after that initial, I said bring them on in. This was about the time that I started my YouTube videos, and they've kind of been my audience. So that's who those figurines are, and I have 4 of them back here, and you see them time to time, and that's what those are all about. All right, I got to get back to packing up these kits here. There it is. I knew I set that rod somewhere. All right, this is one of a pair of 1 3/4 shafts we're working on right now, and we have a diameter here for the packing. We've undercut this one here in the lathe there, and we have the other one in the lathe. We'll probably see that when we head in that way. And this process of welding up this and returning this diameter to claim precision shaft and keep it straight. You can see that in my last video that I did, True It Up. All right, we packed up our rollers and we got those back in inventory. I kind of let that go down to 0 because I didn't want to be responsible of mailing any out during my trip to the Cape Verde Islands. But I want to show you that I use the rollers for straightening or checking for run out, but I also use them to carry the load in projects like using my weld positioner here. And so I can set that, I can just lightly set this up. This trunnion action follows the shaft no matter how high it is. That block happens to be a little higher than this. And I put an indicator onto here, rotate this around, and I can create an alignment of the positioner to the shaft. Very simple. A couple revolutions around and you got it dialed in. Less stress here on the gear and also on your connection where I'm grabbing right there on the thread diameter there, but there's no worries because I am straight in line with that. All right, so that's just a quick view of this. We got video projects, new ones, and we got some old ideas that are going to be also new videos. And we have some old components that we're going to be restoring in some of these. And let's head on into the rest of the shop and take a look at what we got going on. Alright, I think I got all my oil points here, and let's go ahead and fire this puppy off here. And first off, I'll roll it over by hand. Alright, and I have my tensioner here, and that's just a chain binder that I hooked up for temporarily, and it's actually worked out pretty good. Alright, here we go. Alright, it's been a while. I don't really run this too often, but I wanted to go ahead and get it going because we have a project that we're going to be playing around with. And of course I wanted to get my vise back on here. And I think I got enough room for it now. Those keyways just sit in there nice and tight. It's one thing that I did like having. This is the original vise. This is a 1908 Milwaukee. And Milwaukee Shaper Company. Builders, USA. Alright. This is just one of the tools that I have in here. And our subject is going to be the clapper box. Now, last year, I was contacted email and then sent in a pattern here. And Larry Noak, my gun shop, has requested me or asked me if I would go ahead and make him a clapper box for his shaper. And he gave me some dimensions. He gave me a photograph of it, and I told him I'd go ahead and I'd take on that job, and we're going to be building Larry a clapper box for his shaper. And I think I might even do some of the work right here using my shaper. Alright, so that's going to be a future project, and it is kind of nice to hear this old puppy run. This is one of the first machines that I ever restored, and I took it down to Parade Rest, rebored the center pivot hub for the main gear, the slides, the pivot or sliding nut, the ways. I took the head and I took it into North Star Propeller where I was working, and when the HBM wasn't in operation, I went ahead and recut the dovetail on the head, the ram, and then I brought it home, and then I hand lapped it into the ways in the top here, and then I reclaimed the angle and surface on the gib adjustment here, and you can see it has quite a bit of gap in here. It took quite a bit to actually straighten this out, but that adjusted back in to where it's just right up to par. So the ram's tolerance and sliding capabilities is like up to snuff again, and the course, the machine marks are still in there, even though you can see the ways wiping, and it's got a really nice combination of contact along this whole dovetail. That's just a short story on how I got a hold of this shaper. I think I paid $75 for it right off the bat, and it was restored completely in California, but I didn't actually have it running till I came back to the Cape, and I picked up the motor and figured out my my pivot on the back and how I can just take the chain binder and pull it in and take the pressure off of the belt when I'm not running it. All right, let's take a look at another project we got going on. Okay, I brought you into the fun room. Of course, it wasn't always called the fun room. 12 years ago or so, I called it the shit room. The only way I could get any shit in here is if I stood over at the opening and I threw it in. So I've cleaned up this room quite a bit, and the reason why I call it the fun room now is it's taking my 42 years of experience, old school, and applying it to new technologies like the CNC router, the CNC printer, and now we have CNC laser. All right, I'm going to bring you in a little closer and show you what we're going to be playing with and what you're going to start seeing in videos coming up. All right, here we are. We're zoomed in. The last week in October or so, Chris from Op Lasers in Poland gave me sent me an email, and asked me if I'd be interested in one of their engraving laser units to give it a try and review with a video. And so I went ahead and told my schedule about going away for the Cape Verde Islands trip, and then of course we had the holidays come in here. So anyway, we're getting our first view on it today, and just introduction here that this is going to be the start of video series coming up about lasers, and their laser is what I'm going to be using, and you can get that at oplasers.com, and I'll be putting the information and everything else and a little bit more into my introduction. But let's just go through what I've actually got here, and this is the power head here. And it's got its lasers warnings and everything else on it, and the lead to hook it up, and the cooling fan, and of course the focus, I guess you would call it focus end here, and the laser comes shooting out of that, and we're going to be learning all about laser as we go here. I'm totally ignorant, so we're going to be learning as we're going, and we're going to be walking the talk, and that's what it's all about. So they sent me the power unit, a docking station, so that we'll be able to pull this thing on and off of our X-carve, and that's what we're going to be doing, is we're going to be mounting this right on our X-carve. And we have some fasteners in here and a couple of plugs, a dust cover that will go over the quick connect. We have a shroud, I believe it goes on the end of it there, and they got a collimator 400 to 700 NMs, and we have a pair of safety glasses. Okay, so that's the package that we received from Op Laser, and that's what's given our start on this whole thing. After reviewing a couple sites that they even pointed out a site here, because Austin St. Aubin, he has a YouTube channel, and I'll put his link up here as well, and he already has one of these units actually mounted on his X-carve, and I watched his video of his installation, and I'm kind of simulating that same installation, and I've had to pick up a few things along the way to get the ball rolling so that I'll be able to mount this laser and get it going on my X-carve. Alright, so let's take a look at some of the things that I've had to pick up that we're going to be involved in getting this laser mounted up on the X-carve. Okay, I really want to refresh people's minds. This is the carriage that I've modified for the router head on my PlasmaCam. Okay, so by modifying the carving attachment for the PlasmaCam, I gained this DW660 Dewalt router head, which I want to mount on my X-carve. So that router head is going to be replaced with this router head. So in search, I had to pick up the Inventables mount for that router head there. Which will take care of getting that on there. In doing that, I also went ahead and got on Inventable site, and I got a 1/4 inch collet, so now I'll have 2 collet sizes for the X-carve. Now after I got the clamp on its way, I was reading the literature, and I needed to have the backing plate to mount this plate too. So I got on the Inventables and printed off their drawing, drew it into the PlasmaCam, cut out the diameter, and then put it in the mill, and then precisionally did my holes so that I had good quality holes for the adjustment of the guide and location of this. So with that being said, we're going to be changing out that Inventables router head, and we're going to have to mount our laser onto my modification. Now on this site here of Austin St. Aubin, he actually has, let me see if I can make this bigger. Okay, he has a 3D printed adapter for the docking station that bolts onto here, and I'm going to be doing a similar, probably printed component, and creating that standard for this application here as well. Okay, now that we know that we're going to have to make an adapter, and it's going to be a new application, and we're going to be playing with mounting up this router and this combination of laser in on my X-carve. Okay, during watching Austin's video there, I realized that I was going to need a power supply for this laser, and I went on Op Laser's site, and I found that their recommended power supply was an LRS 35-12, and I went ahead and procured one of those here local so that I could have it within a day or so. Because this is I only have 3 or 4 days before Thanksgiving. I mean, I wanted to have all of this kind of ready at the same time so that I could start right on here within a couple days of actually starting to put this laser on this machine here. Now, also in Austin's videos here, he actually talks about the IoT relay, and he can actually control his spindle and control the laser through the computer and the controller, and that option was like a no-brainer. So I went ahead and I picked up a pair of the IoT relays as well. And after getting it here, I get a little close-up and actually holding one in my hand. Of course, here's the little block that you'll be able to put in your positive and negative leads there that come and feed from your controller. And you have two plugs here that are normally off, you have a normally on, and you have an always on as well. Okay, and then you have your switch activated light here, and of course your on and off, reset and off right there. There is two mounting screws to where you can keep it from sliding and moving around a little bit. So these are items that I had to pick up to be able to put my package together. So look forward here in a couple days. We're going to actually start ripping this apart, and we're going to start building the mount that will mount the docking station for the laser, and we'll get that wired up. Okay, before I put this to the side here, just wanted to point out that this is the PL H3D 6 watt diode power, maximum power consumption 30 watt. All right, and we're going to know a lot more about this as we go. All right, so I'm clearing up the spot here so we can get our next talk here. Okay, you recognize this? We've taken a little bit of the green off. Okay, we have already reprinted every printed component on this machine to our standards and our likings. We've been able to print off our test blocks and get exactly our dimensions of 1/2 inch, 1 inch by 1 inch, and within a few thousandths we've been doing really well. We've been able to make a bunch of different shapes. This actually represents one of our wipers, and we did it in a 3D printed versus X-carve the component out. The last thing we did before we went to Cape Verde Islands was convert one of our Otter box belt clips to make it into a tripod mount, or I have a nasty clamp which screws in the back here, and then it has a clamp, and right now I'm using it to hold the actual monitor for the camera right now. Okay, but what this does is it lets you put your phone in here and gives you the port for your camera, and a 1/4 20 threaded hole here to mount on tripods or any other clamp. And this lets you hold your camera in a still motion or clamp it to an individual place there. So anyway, I was able to print this part out, and I drew it on Fusion 360, and I put a hex on one side, which the 1/4 20 nut actually sits into, and then gave it an opening and a little register or a boss. And then the back side is just high heat, high bond 3M tape, and that sticks that right on there, and that's how I made that component. Now we're happy with, and this is ABS here as well, material, and we're probably gonna design and make that mount for the op laser docking station in there. So we have got this functioning right, but you can see that we actually reconstructed the entire carriage. We got a E3D hot end, and we have the Titan extruder, and we were able to plumb it all in there. We got rid of the bed. We changed that out, put a little smaller bed, but we were able to wire it in. And we have, this is all insulation. This is just the tape over the outside, just so the fuzziness of the insulation material is contained. and it really does hold the heat to the tray really, really nice. All right, and we also have a piece of glass that fits this top here. We just haven't got the clamps yet to try it out. All right, now let's talk about another project that we got at the same time that we got this from Gearbest. We got another project, the oscilloscope. Let's bring that out. I took the Ziploc bag and I put the oscilloscope kit in here because from day one, this is the package it was in. And I thought maybe they took it out of the box to save room when they sent it in with the printer. And so I went ahead and I got online because, okay, did it have a really nice box? And did it have a really cool picture of the model you were building? Remember building models and you had a really custom car and you were putting the thing together and you had a picture to go? Even when you do puzzles, you put puzzles together, you got a picture of what the puzzle looks like, okay? It gives you some kind of, comparison, okay? Does it look like that when you get done? But, so I got online just so that I could see if I could get the pictures or whatever, and I ended up on JYE Tech. Is a site that actually the manufacturers of the oscilloscope kit, the DSO138 do-it-yourself kit, and come to find out that there are counterfeits of this kit. And researching on the site, I actually got a list of selling fake kits, and it lists all the eBay sellers and Allied Express sellers. I mean, this is an extreme list of counterfeits in here. Amazon sellers, and then down here on others, it says Gearbest.com. So, Gearbest, I wanted to know if I actually had a fake kit or not, and so I ordered the real deal from JTech, and of course it shows up, and this I know was sent from China, okay, and then when I finally got the real deal here, it was sent from Mr. Chin, okay? So now I'm thinking, okay, hey, does Mr. Chin have a front door he sells this out of and he has a back door he sells this out of? I don't know. I'm making fun, okay? So I really don't know if Mr. Chin does that or not. All right, so what I found, and actually on the site here, it does give you the same list that I printed off there, but it also gives you a fake versus genuine, okay? And on the fake one here, it gives you different fonts, and JYE Tech does not have this date code, okay? And let me zoom you in here. Okay, up here, JYE Tech does not have this date code, okay? There's the date code right there. Different fonts. And it has exactly all of that right on there. All right, no sticker down here. All right, let's scroll down here now. Okay, and this is the genuine here. And I haven't opened this up yet, but this is nice, and it gives you a nice user manual and everything else in here. Let's see if I can slide out this card here. Okay, and here's the genuine card that came with the genuine kit, and it has a unique product ID, okay, and it has a unique date there, not the not the matching date up here, which all the fake ones have that matching date. All right, we got we got our two oscilloscope kits into their bags here and box, and this is going to be a fun project. We've already started a solder station, and we have a coach, John O'Loughlin, is helping us out. He told us to get a static band, some magnifiers, digital soldering station. We got plenty more items like solder suckers because we might suck at soldering. We'll see how that goes. One thing that we do know, because we've been doing some read up there, and also John has kind of let us know, the old kit is a copy of the old, and the new kit has actually got updated characteristics to it, and I'm going to be showing and sharing those as I go. Okay, this is going to be a fun project. This is not going to be a boring winter. All right, let's head on out. Okay, this project we're going to talk about here has been in the works ever since Dennis Nolan gave us the tools from Niagara and Seiko Tool at the Barzy Summer Bash a couple years back. And as soon as I opened up that box in front of you guys there and I pulled that dude out, the wheels started spinning. How am I going to run that on my K&T? Well, I need a holder for that, and I also need a holder for 1.5 inches. My largest holder is 1.25 inches, and then the two next holder sizes would be 1.5 inches, and 2 inch would be nominal sizes that you normally find in mills, cutters, arbors, and all kinds of things like that to run. So I need to make number 40 taper holders for the 1.5 inches and the 2 inch. So this video is going to be making those holders. Now, the other day in a junk box, I picked up this adapter here, and it has a number 40 taper right here, and it has a pretty good little shaft out this way here, and it has a shaft out this way made to hold different things. Has a center drill in each end, and a nice shank here to where I can add a boss on here so I can create whatever size I want over here, so that I could use the closing tracer and make the outside shape for my 40 tapers. Then I could set it up and I can turn it around and I could do the bore in the second setup, and then I would be able to set it up in the closing to do the grind work after heat treat, and I would be able to set it up in the spindle here and use my new Do More grinder. We got to rebuild the bearings, so this is part of the video as well, to go ahead and rebuild that. But I'll be able to put that in the vise and come in and precision grind after heat treating, okay? And we'll go ahead and we'll pick a material and we'll heat treat it in the wood stove. So this is going to be a winter project as well, and it's going to be a fun project, and it's going to be a lot of neat action. It's nice to set something up and run it nice in the tracer, and it's also going to force me to go ahead and put two post grinders together. I have one that's in pieces that I can put together for the closing, and I'm going to rebuild this one here so that we can do the bores in the K&T. All right, we have one last project to talk about in this video. Okay, we're going to continue working on Buffy. We brought most of the components inside the shop here. We have the red trays down under the table here, and we're going to be bringing up individual components, and we're going to be putting those back together with all the new bearings and stuff. We've already got the new back gear pressed off and pressed the new one on to that part of the shaft. We've already got some of the pieces painted. The motor is completely reassembled and waxed, and we do have to put a coat of wax on the major aluminum housing, and then we'll set those off to the side, and we'll start getting the bottom sections all assembled and put together here, and then we'll go out and we'll finish tearing down other components on the Bridgeport to repaint the whole body. All right, I think that's going to do us for our tour today and the view of all of our upcoming projects. We're going to have some fun stuff going on. I'm really looking forward to that. Again, thank you for the 100,000 subscribers, 34 million views. Can't thank you enough. I do have new announcement that I will be switching over all my t-shirts to TeeBlasters.com, and right now I do have one campaign running. The campaign is the tethered flag logo and walk the talk on the front, pocket size logo on the front. These are going to be available in short sleeves, long sleeves, and zipper hoodies. All right, so you can venture on. Here's the site for the campaign. All right, I think that pretty well wraps it up. All right, until next video, get her done.